Hi, my name is Sandra OHagan. I want to talk about one of three macronutrients. Our macronutrients are carbohydrates, fats, and protein. I want to focus on protein. Protein, the word, is derived from a Greek word called protes, meaning of prime importance, or there's two of prime importance or of the first order. You'll understand why protein is very important shortly. A protein molecule is made up of amino acids, and amino acids are often called building blocks. So if you were to take, say, a fence or something that looks like this, if you pictured a protein molecule, it would be like putting all of these little things together to create the building blocks or the amino acids that are so important to bring us protein. So why is protein important? Proteins are made up of 21 amino acids, different amino acids. 12 of them we have happening in our body. 9 have to come from food. 9 essential amino acids come from our food. Proteins are protein's primary role is to provide the building blocks of lean body tissue that promote healthy skin, hair, bones, ligaments, tendons, as well as muscle. We always hear about protein and muscle, but not everyone's aware of how important protein is to every other function of our body. In addition, protein plays a vital role in things like building antibodies, so that they're involved in the immune system and the function of fight infection. Enzymes, so the enzymes that aid in digestion and metabolism, protein's a contributor. Blood proteins, red blood cells contain hemoglobin, which carry oxygen through the body. Globin is a protein, again, supported with protein. Lipoproteins are the clear fluid in blood plasma that transport fat and protein particles to move cholesterol through the body. Lipoproteins are proteins. Hormones are the transport signals from one cell or gland to another part of the body, such as insulin. It regulates blood sugar and metabolism. Again, protein is a contributor. Your sensory receptors, your sight, your smell, and your hearing are all supported with protein. So this is a pretty vital macronutrient for us. Energy. Protein is a secondary energy source. Our primary energy sources are carbohydrates and fats. But if your body's depleted of those, and this would happen, say with a runner or somebody who's an endurance athlete, you might be depleted of those, and your body will look to protein for its fuel source. It is not the primary fuel source, but it could be used if it didn't have its primary sources available. So what are the types of proteins? We have complete proteins and incomplete proteins. A complete protein that we hear a lot about: meat, fish, dairy, poultry, and ta-da, the egg. The egg has been granted a biological value of 100%. So it contains all the 9 essential amino acids in their proper amounts to make this the perfect protein. In addition to animal proteins, there are plant proteins that are complete. Ones like one of my favorites, quinoa. This is before it's steamed. I steam it a lot, add it to salads. You can have it for breakfast. You can put it anywhere you might have rice, anywhere you might have potatoes. You could have quinoa. It's just that perfect, versatile thing. Chia, I don't know if you can see my chia. Chia is a great thing to add to your smoothies. You can add it to your breakfast cereal. You can add it to your salads. You can put it, again, almost anywhere. It is a complete protein. Spirulina, sprouted lentils, things like that. Again, spirulina is versatile too. It can be added in a lot of different ways. So those are complete proteins. Incomplete proteins are missing one or more of the essential amino acids or have unbalanced amino acids. So those 9 essentials, they're missing something. What you need to do with incomplete proteins, so those are things like grains, like rice is an incomplete protein, legumes like beans, peas, raw lentils, those are incomplete. Nuts and seeds, incomplete. So they do a protein, just not the 9 essentials. So in order to get them to be a complete protein, you have to match them with other proteins. So make a salad and add your, you can have rice, but add legumes and beans and things like that to the salad to make it a complete protein. So there are lots of ways to do it, making chili and adding lots of beans and legumes, or making a stir fry and adding legumes. There are ways to add and create complete proteins. This is really important, important for vegetarians, because sometimes it's a little harder for them to get the complete proteins. Digestion of protein. I'm going to talk about why this is important. As soon as we start to eat, as soon as food enters your mouth, the chemical breakdown begins, the digestive process begins. Once your food hits your stomach, it combines with acidic acids and those digestive enzymes start working, and that starts breaking down the food and protein. Additional enzymes in the small intestine aid in chemical digestion. Now, once broken down, the amino acids, so those proteins, amino acids move to the liver. This is going to be important, where they're reassembled into other proteins required by all of those processes of the body. And there were lots of them I mentioned. Any undigested proteins will be excreted through bodily waste. So we don't store them. They're going to move through. Keep that liver thing in mind. How much protein do we need? This is a great question. I hear it a lot, and the answer is really very simple. It depends. It depends how old you are, how active you are, how fit you are, how your size, your weight, and all of those things. There are a whole lot of things that it depends on. Our recommended daily allowance is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. So that's a really low amount, and that would be a really sedentary person, but that's an RDA, so that's a recommended daily allowance. That could go up to about 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, depending on how active you are. Getting back to that activity thing, you might need more. Certainly if you're a bodybuilder, you're going to need more. In order to figure that out, you obviously have to know yourself. So you'll have a sense of what you do require. But if you take your weight in pounds, divide it by 2.2, that'll give you your weight in kilograms, and multiply that times 0.8 or anywhere up to 1.8, that will give you your grams of protein. Grams of protein then multiplied by 4, because each gram of protein has 4 calories, will determine how many calories you can consume. So that might be helpful if you're trying to figure out your grams of, or how much you can eat. Here's a typical 428 calories. Let's say you end up about 400 calories. That would be like 2 eggs, 3 ounces of boneless skinless chicken breast, and a cup of quinoa. So that's 428 calories. So that you can spread out through the day, through all of your meals, and get all your protein required. So if you under-consume protein, is that important? Sure it is. Because if it's not supporting all those vital functions, you're going to end up with your nails not growing, your hair being brittle. Who knows? If you're really under-consumed, your body will deteriorate. It's not a good thing. But in our Western diet, that's not very typical. It's very uncommon. If you over-consume, that could be a problem, because remember that protein breaks down in the digestive system and goes through the liver. You are now, if you're over-consuming, stressing your liver and stressing your kidneys and vital organs. So it could get very serious. So you have to be very careful with overconsumption too. Again, not that common, but bodybuilders could certainly have that problem for sure. So in summary, if you look for complete proteins or match foods to create complementing proteins, that's important to get the protein in your diet that you require. Consume adequate amounts of protein at each meal based on your activity level and your body weight. And be sure to eat a balanced diet of carbs, fat, and protein for the best health benefits. Thank you.